Alright, I'm gonna start off with a little care video. This is all about my Nile monitors. Alright, before you haven't met me yet, I'm Jason. I'm gonna give you guys a short little care video about Nile monitors. Okay, your Nile monitors, as babies, are gonna require like a small house around 55-gallon tank. They're smaller than this. Adult size is a 5x15. The minimum enclosure for adult is an 8x4x4. The reason why these are so big enclosures is these Niles are not small little lizards, okay? You are gonna gotta realize these are aggressive and very temperamental because they're very skittish because they're very scared all the time. That's the biggest problem anybody has with Niles. Now, if you sit there and you try to handle your Nile all the time, it's gonna become more and more tame. But if it's skittish when you're trying to pick it up and you go in there and you pull it out in any way that's gonna stress it out, if it's trying to bite you or tail with you, you need to leave it alone, back away. Your best bet is to start cleaning the cage regularly on a daily basis, changing the water bowl, doing all that just to gain trust of your Niles. You don't want to lose the trust either. Once you lose the trust, it's pretty hard to get it back, and almost impossible. So you want to get that trust and you want to keep it. The diets for Nile monitors, I suggest using ground turkey, eggs. I use cricket, steak, everything though you want to put a little bit of calcium on. And if you want to use some type of aquatic reptile drops for the water too, to keep the calcium and chlorine though, because that is a problem sometimes. I also want to give a big enough hideaway for your lizard, at least 2 to 3 times the size of him inside of it. That's what I do. I got a 15 pair of speakers in there, a box for mine. And you want to give them a huge water container. Around 25% of their cage needs to be water. So that's, if anybody didn't know that, that's what you want to do. Because if you don't use the water in the cage, you get fucked over. They need that to swim, submerge, to pretty much cool the body temperature down. You want microclimates, you want to have it so one side of the cage is around like 80 to 90 degree temperature, and the other side is around 70 to 80 degree temperature. And then you want to have a basement spot around 120 to 130 degree temperature. The reason why you need this is lizards need to thermoregulate their bodies, and to do that they have to go from different climates, from cold to hot, and to get a base temperature. So you want to do that. That's one of the best ways to do it, is to make microclimates inside of your lizard cage. If you can do that using UV bulbs, you want to, because they need it for that digestion. A lot of people say they don't, but they do, and it will also help them grow. My Nile is only 2.5 years old, and they're huge. Hib is almost 4 feet, and the female is closing in on 4 feet. The setup they have right now is 4 foot tall by 5 feet deep by 8 feet long, and it's suitable for right now. They have around 750 pounds of soil in there, and around 200 pounds of sand, and around 400 pounds of rock in there, and they're almost close to 30-gallon water jug, but there's only 20 gallons of water, and it's half a 55-gallon bucket cut down and put inside there, so that they have a huge area to swim in, because they're still those, like, they're getting there, but they're still those small compared to the full grown ones. I hope to make an enclosure 8x6x6 for their next update on their cage. That won't be too long. I just gotta get the funds together. It's just gonna cost me a little bit. But as far as monitoring caring goes, you want to make sure that you just let chill. I mean, it's not really too much of a handleable creature. When they get older, some Niles are handleable, but most of them aren't. And so I wouldn't say get your hopes up on handling too much. Most of the time, these animals are so scared that they fear that their keepers are going to kill them or hurt them. So they want to go ahead and attack or lash out with their tail. And in my last video, you guys see the nib whoop my hand with it, just for being in the cage. So sometimes you get whipped and you're going to have to deal with it. You're going to get bit sometimes too. It's what happens when you buy Niles. So just think about that. Also, another thing I would suggest is make sure you find something that your Nile is comfortable with eating all the time. If it's mice, then go for mice, but don't feed it too much live food, especially if you're trying to make it not so vicious. You do want to give them a good workout, so that's why they need such a big cage. Sometimes you want to make them work for even for the dead food, dangling in it, pulling it with tongs. Tong feeding is a good way to build trust with them too. I would suggest if you went out and bought like a 3-foot Nile monitor and tried to tongue feed it right out of the bat and it wasn't tame, that would be a bad idea. But a baby, you might be able to work it up and get it ready to tongue feed. Another thing I would say is just make sure your temperature, your water, your soil, and everything is just around the right area, because these lizards are pretty hardy and they will survive in most conditions, but to make them live to the maximum lifespan, you want to take really, really good care of them. And you don't want to overfeed them when they're too big. As they get older, you want to slow down the feedings. When they're younger, sometimes I was feeding them every other day, and then as they started getting older, I started minimizing it to twice a week, and when they get full grown, I hope to do it only once a week, because it takes a while for them to digest the food. If you think about it, it takes almost a week. So you want to give them time to digest the food, not get a hemorrhage, and that's the problem with feeding them rats, is the fur will build up and give them hemorrhages after a while, so you gotta be careful of that. And make sure you only feed your monitor, if you're feeding them live food that's smaller than their head, or around the same size, but not bigger, because if it's bigger, they're gonna have to rip and tear at it, and it's harder for them to swallow. Not only that, there's more fur and that with the creature, so you're gonna get more backup in the stomach, and sometimes you're gonna have to go to the vet and get that taken care of. Another thing I would suggest is just chilling out with them. Just hang out with your lizard, just chill out with it. Go back there and just sit with it, and you'll be able to tell after a while when you're going to the cage, and if it starts puffing up, going sideways a little bit, just back off and let it calm down, and just slowly work your way at it. You don't want to work too much at a time either. So I just want to let everybody know that this care videos, I've been doing my monitors for a while. I've done a lot of other monitors, Spanish monitors, black throats and white throats. I hope to get another pair of black throats soon. I'm going to do some updates on some